Hello all you model building enthusiasts out there. This will be my 5th video on my Kenworth W900 Aerodyne 1/16 scale. And I'm going to take you through what I've gotten done so far in this video, as always. Now, to give you an idea as to what I've been doing, this is a piece of aluminum tube that I use to make fuel tanks. And you can see I have tape on each end of it, and I use the tape to cut the ends off of this piece of tube. The ends of them already were straight, so I wanted to use those straight ends to, so I wouldn't have to make, more work for myself. And this is a way to make the tube nice and straight. I used a Dremel tool, followed along the tape line after I made sure the tape matched all the way around. Cut it with a Dremel tool. And then I took these stainless steel caps that I bought, and I basically took a grinding wheel on the Dremel tool and I grinded this edge down so that I could separate the back side of it, like this back side of it here, from the front side of it. Because when I tried to put the cap on, it didn't fit as flush as I would have liked it to. So basically that's what I did for that. And to show you the finished product, here they are. There's my two fuel tanks, and what I did was I just doubled up the model kit tanks. They were, I believe, 71 millimeters long, and I went 142 millimeters long on each one of these tanks. And basically what I did was I sanded them down, deburred them, rasped them, got them, the edges all nice and smooth and cleaned up on both the caps and on the tubes. And I super glued the caps on, and you can just barely see a seam here. And I found out that some of these fuel tanks actually do have a seam from the sides to the rolled steel or aluminum, whatever they're made out of. And to get them to look this way from that to that, I used 150 grit sandpaper, 320, 600, 1500, 2000 to 2500. And then I took this, it's Mother's Mag and Aluminum Polish, and I use this to polish them all up, both the end caps and the aluminum. And then I just took a little bit of car wax and car waxed them a little bit. And I have these brackets made. It took me a day to do them, and I'm probably not going to end up using these because I went on the internet and found out they don't look anything like this. Basically what I did was I went off of the original tank and kind of fabricated them off of that. But I want to make them look more realistic, so I went on the internet and found out they're basically just a strap that mounts to the frame and wraps about a third away around the fuel tank. I'm either going to use this steel here to make them 9 millimeters wide. I'm going with wide straps, 3 of them, or I'm going to use a sheet of plastic, depending upon which will work best or easiest or support these. Now they're not too heavy, that's the good thing. And take a piece of paper towel here just so you can get an idea. I don't want to touch them, my fingerprints get all over them just yet, but that's what it's going to look like on the frame. You can see that it's going to fit just underneath my sleeper. And I wanted to make sure I had enough room for my toolboxes on the back. Of course, the battery boxes are here. And I also found these little, this right here. Make them out. These are going to be my fuel caps, my fuel tank caps for my fuel. And basically all they are is shuttle bay doors off of my 1 3/50 scale Enterprise, and they look pretty cool. And I'm either going to paint those red or I'm going to chrome them. The same thing with the straps. I'm going to probably go with the body, same color as the body with the straps. So we'll see what those look like after I painted them. And I also have been working on the frame of the engine. I got the motor in. I got it all plumbed. You can see I got the fuel lines all hooked up to the motor. I've also got the air pump all plumbed and hooked up to the air lines. And swing it around here so you can see my power steering system. And I got my power steering system all plumbed. Now, I was in one of my other videos, I was saying that I was going to go and put the power steering pump on the rear, but I decided against it. I went ahead and put it on the front because the way I had wired this or plumbed it was for a pump in the front of the motor, so I just went ahead and did it. I can't find anything on the internet, or I even called a Kenworth dealership and tried to get them to tell me where it would be mounted on this particular truck, and they never got back to me, so I just went ahead and put it on the front. And so that's it for the frame of the motor. And I got the dashboard done. I wanted to get it done, so I went ahead and started working on that. And as you can see, I carried the theme from my sleeper onto my dashboard from the cabinet doors there that were red wood, marbleized wood. I did the same thing on the dashboard panels here. I also put wire underneath each panel that has a hinge on it. These wires this wire actually has little lines in it. You can see it as I'm probably turning it. You can see the lines as I turn it in the light. I also modified the red and yellow knob there. I took the 15 gauge plastic that I had and made them look better. The only one I didn't do was the blue one. I just glued them right to the existing knobs. All my gauges are hand painted. I used enamel white paint and then an acrylic black paint over that, and then took a pen and scratched all the detail so that way you could see all the numbers and lines. You can't see them that well in this camera video shot, but they're there. And I also used a gel ink pen to do the orange dials. And my buttons are also chrome, and I did red and green lights on them. You can't see them that well in this, but they're there. And that's pretty much it for the dashboard. And I also did some work on my radiator. Got the intercooler to look the way I want it to. It's been a little bit of work. Give me a little bit of a hard time. I had to go back and touch it up and do some repainting on it. I didn't care for the way it looked. You would think something so easy wouldn't give you a hard time, but it gave me a little bit of a challenge. And then I fabricated a lower radiator hose out of screw for the motor to the radiator. And also I wanted to go over the cab and the way the cab is mounted on the frame. Now, a few people have told me that the cab sits too far back on the frame. I figured out what Monogram Rebel did wrong on this particular kit is that, as you can see here, here's your frame mount, and what they did was they mounted the cab on the back side of this lip here that rises. You can see there's a risen lip here, an edge, and it's not supposed to go on the back side, it's supposed to go on the front side. That's what the problem is, because the way the pins line up on your battery boxes, it puts the cab on the back side of this mount. So you want to take those pins off and just put it on the front side of this, on this cab mount. And I have an AMT 125th scale Kenworth that I plan on working on in the future, and I've done this model before when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure that the cab also is mounted on the front side of this on that kit. So that's where they went wrong. They did, I don't know why they did it that way, but that's how they did it. And also, when you do bring that cab forward, there's a little box on the firewall that sticks out. It's gonna hit your turbo, and it's a good thing that I didn't glue my turbo on yet, because there's gonna have to be some modifications made with the turbo to the exhaust. And I have the intercooler, so I don't have to worry about where it's gonna be on this. But you're gonna have to cut off that box on the firewall and clean it up and patch it, and then be able to get your turbo situated so that way it looks properly mounted on the engine. And then you're gonna have to figure out how to run the exhaust system, and I gotta go over that myself. I don't know what yet I have to do on that. I haven't gotten that far, but I'm pretty sure the exhaust is going to have to be slightly modified also. As far as the battery boxes go, it looks like they could be mounted where they are. Not quite sure, but if not, I will show how I do have it mounted, whether or not I have the battery boxes moved forward or not. So when I get to that point, I'll let you all know. And then of course I have the bushings done for the turbo system for the intercooler. I painted these all up. They're all orange. I gotta chrome them. I'm basically just gonna paint them silver, but those are almost ready to go. And I have my drive shafts modified. Now this one here is basically this end, and you can't see it, but the back end, and I cut those off, and I took a piece of sprue. This whole center section here is just a piece of sprue, and I cut that to length, and then I super glued those ends on. I shortened this one. This is from the transmission to one of the center links. This one here was to the rear end, to the first link. And then this here is the center section here, and I believe I had to lengthen this one here slightly too, or shorten it, I don't remember. But you want 3 drive shafts. 2 drive shafts is too long. They'll twist on a real truck. So you definitely want to keep 3 drive shafts. And that's it. That's all I got for now. I'm going to be taking this furlough through the summer. I'm going to be putting this away for the next 2 months. I got some other hobbies I have lined up that I want to work on. I have a car that I'm working on, and get that done, and then I'll get started back on this sometime, probably late August, early September, and I'll have another video for you guys sometime in September. But until then, have fun building your kits, and enjoy your summer. Bye for now.